Welcome, everybody, to the newest episode of Lambitious Podcast. I am Lloyd Lindley, one of your hosts.
I am Ambitious Brown. How y'all doing?
And I'm Patrick Doc Francis, the other half of Lamp. Welcome, everybody. We're about to get it started.
Yes,
How y'all been doing all week? How's your week been? I know it's like a lot going on with the news, and it's just a lot going on, period. So did y'all have some fun stuff going on this weekend or this week, period?
Oh, well, I know this weekend was really just like
my week.
Oh, I think it's frozen. I think Lloyd is frozen on his side.
Go ahead, though, Pat.
Okay. No, I was just gonna say this week.
Good. I'm sorry. My week was good. If you hear me, everyone. We did the HTX market this past weekend, still with the Muscle Your Vote campaign. Did some excellent networking.
Okay. Look like you're having a little.
Can you hear me?
You're having some technical issues, so I'll kind of explain what you were saying. So over the weekend, once again, another hot weekend. But what we did as far as Lamp, HTX had a vendor spot over there off of Pinemont and Ella. And so Lloyd was able to go out there.
Can you hear me?
The table. Yeah, I was just kind of explaining what you were saying. Lloyd was out there setting up a table with HTX, and they do vendor functions pretty much every weekend. And it's an opportunity for you to network with other vendors, get into a different demographic, and then also the people are able to come out. Of course, during the pandemic, you got to be very careful and very safe. So people are able to come out, get business cards, get information on how to contact you, and kind of learn about the organization. And so from there, it's kind of like a nice networking, new demographic, open space. It was actually outside, so it's not like an enclosed area. It was actually outside, which why I was saying it's hot, but it's actually a great opportunity to network. So
that sounds like fun. Mm-hmm. So like y'all was it a good turnout? Like a lot of people came out to register?
Well, this wasn't too we were doing voter registration, but it was also another part to it was just really just getting the brand, getting the name out there, networking, and exposing ourselves to everybody else that's out there that's a part of that HTX market.
That's dope. That sounds like a whole lot of fun. And that's what y'all.
I'm sorry to interrupt. But Lloyd has the exact name, and I think a way to like find out more information about HTX.
Yeah, so you can follow them on Facebook. It's HTX Market, and then also on Instagram, same thing, HTX Market. They do a artisan show every week, and yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so they do a show this week. They will be at the Wakefield Crowbar. So we really appreciate them featuring us as the nonprofit organization over the weekend. And we look forward to collaborating with them, in future projects.
Yeah, shout out to HTX and Wakefield Crowbar.
Definitely.
Yeah.
How about yourself, Miss Ambitious?
I can't hear Lloyd.
You can't hear him? Okay. Well, he just kind of finished talking about how we could reach HTX and where they're going to be at next weekend. So just tell us about your weekend. Tell the people about yourself.
Oh, so this past weekend, I actually learned how to unload, load, and shoot the target. So I shot guns all weekend, and I had a lot of fun. I actually took the little lesson thing for your license to carry. So my license should be on its way very soon. It was like a very good experience. I'll get the name of the company that we went through, because what they do is they teach you like the fundamentals and the basics of how to handle and carry a gun. And I feel like as a responsible gun handler, you should go get proper training know how to store it, know how to keep it safe, know how to load it, know how to unload it. There's just certain things that you should know. And I had a fun time. I will be taking more classes so that I can get more familiar and get comfortable with my piece, because the world is changing. People are like a lot more ruthless than what they were when I was younger. So just as a single female out here, I want to be safe in these streets. So I had a lot of fun playing with guns this weekend. That's what I did.
Well, yeah. When you find out, let me know. I think I saw you a picture on your Instagram.
Yeah, I did. So that's why I say I'll
Nice.
tag,
Okay.
and whenever we post this, I'll go ahead and add the business that we went through, Black owned, of course. And yeah, so it was like a lot of fun. But I'll tag it and let you guys know where to go. They also do license to carry classes. They offer self-defense classes, training classes, all of that fun stuff. So I will put that information down for you guys.
All right, cool. So it looks like we have somebody waiting to get on. You there, Chip?
Okay.
Oh, I can hear you.
I am here. Yes.
How you doing?
Okay.
How are you?
All right. Thank you for coming on.
Good. So we're just going to introduce our guest
would
this
like
week
to introduce
is
our
Miss Nick Miller.
first and only guest for tonight, Miss Nick Miller, a survivor of COVID-19. So how are you doing today? First and foremost, how was your weekend? How are you doing? How you feeling today?
So it's funny that you say today, because every day is different. Yes. So today is probably about a 75% day. I feel okay, but I can still feel some pain. First of all, hello everybody. My name is Nakia Miller, also Tamika Holmes on Facebook. And a while ago, I posted a video of my COVID experience, and I had a couple people contact me, and more people who wanted to know more about the illness, because there are some misnomers, and there's the thought that there are only certain symptoms, and there aren't. So I thought it was very important for me to share that with folks so they'll know the seriousness of it, and also that a temperature check does not just qualify you or disqualify you of having COVID. So Lloyd asked me to come on, and I'm happy to be here.
We're very happy to have you. Very happy to have you.
So I don't know how this works. I just go on, or do you guys ask questions?
Yeah, we do. We have a question.
Yeah, I'll let Ambitious. You want to start it out?
Yeah. So basically, what were some of your initial symptoms that triggered you to go and get tested for COVID-19?
Okay, so originally it started out with sneezing, and I just brushed it off. And after a couple of days of sneezing, my son said, "Mom, you know you've been sneezing a couple of days or whatever." Just still brushing it off for the first probably 3 or 4 days, and then I had a fever that hit me like nothing else. I had a 102. I think it was 102.4 fever or something like that, 101.4, but it was very high. And I called my doctor, and they immediately told me to come in and get testing. Even when people were saying there weren't any tests, there really were tests out there. They were just kind of keeping them for the symptomatic people versus the asymptomatic people. So I went in, got swabbed, and it came back the very next day that I was positive.
Wow. And very next day?
The very next day, because they have rapid tests. So by that time, I want to say Louisiana had pushed for rapid tests and for us to be able to use our own LabCorps. And so the tests were coming back quickly. So I got my test results back the very next day via my patient portal. And it was very weird because it was just a simple message. Hey, Nakia, you have COVID. Take Tylenol for fever.
Take Tylenol.
That's it.
That's it. And the reason why it's dumbfounding or, it's mind-boggling why a doctor would just tell you to take Tylenol when everyone's out here saying that this is really a deadly disease. It still is. It's just that the doctors don't really know what to do. And so back in March, they were still trying to figure out what to do. It's scary. So I pretty much self-medicated myself. And pretty much all the doctors tell you to do is treat the symptoms.
That's
I got a question. You go by? Do you go by Miss Miller? What's the name?
Nakia.
Nakia. Okay, so I kind of want to rewind it back a little bit. So when you first started feeling sick, like, was it going through your head like, man, this could be COVID, or do you think it was just kind of like, I'm having some, coughs, a little sneezing, and it's probably not much? Like, were you actually like getting kind of scared at the moment?
Well, I get teased by my family all the time. I'm sort of a hypochondriac. Mm-hmm. So mentally, I took myself to a brush it off place because by nature, I'm going to think I have it. Just because, just one symptom would have made me think I had it. So I did my best to make sure that, okay, take note of that. Take notes. So I actually on my phone kept notes. I wrote the date down. I wrote, this is after the sneezing, because the sneezing, I really did ignore that. But after that, I started writing down everything that happened, the date, what my fever temperature was. Because before I called the doctor, I wanted to be sure I could say, yeah, I had a fever, for this entire day, and it was, it never went down, blah, blah, blah. I wanted to be able to give some kind of concrete information around it.
Mm-hmm.
Were you actually following all the protocols prior to then, or was this something that you were kind of being careless with, that going out somewhere, hanging with a group of people that you didn't know where they had been? Like, how do you think it came about?
I'm a Pisces.
Hey, there we go. Pisces in the house.
They gave me a list of rules to follow, and I followed the list.
Thank you.
Sad enough, it was actually my birthday weekend.
Oh man!
I had taken off Thursday and Friday of work, and I was ready to party that weekend. I was like,
birthday?
March 14th.
Okay.
Oh wow, y'all's birthday are like all right within each other.
March 17th.
The cool crew. So, I was going to celebrate. I didn't have anyone to celebrate with, but I figured, get dressed up, go take myself out to dinner, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
By that time, that same weekend, they were issuing the first stay-at-home order. That's right. Me and my kids, we celebrated in the house. I didn't feel anything at that point. My son had actually, this is how I caught it. I'll tell you how I caught it. And we didn't find out how I caught it until I was in my last week of sickness. So my godchild here, and his godchild's birthday was that weekend as well. They were celebrating his godchild's birthday. So he went to his close friend's house. There were literally 4 people. So that breaks the whole rule of, they tell you 10 or less, right? So we're within that time, right? That amount of people.
Right.
4 people. The grandmother was asymptomatic. She did not find out she was asymptomatic until she had an emergency gallbladder surgery, and we had to test her for COVID. And so that's when we found out that that's how I got sick, because my son brought it home to me.
Thanks. Okay.
Wow.
So that again says, don't just follow what the protocol is, because at the end of the day, if there's an asymptomatic person in the building, it doesn't matter.
And you gotta delete turn off the
Okay. So doing everything that you're supposed to do, you're around your friends and your family, and it's only 4 or 5 of you, you can still get sick. Yeah. So he brought it home, and that a few, I want to say maybe 2 days later, I noticed that he hadn't gotten out of the bed, and I knocked on his door, and when I opened the door, he was just like laying there, like, I was like, what's wrong with you? He was like, I don't want to move. I can't move. I'm in pain, Mom. I'm tired. Like, his body was shivering. Like, he had some really crazy things going on with him. And at that point, I still wasn't thinking he has COVID. He might just be sick, right? So I went and got him some tea. I was, taking care of him. I got sick a couple days after that.
Wow.
And I got it worse than him because I'm 43. He's 23.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know of any underlying conditions, or I should say I wasn't aware of me having any underlying conditions that would cause me to get COVID based on what the media and what the government is saying those underlying symptoms are, like high blood pressure, heart disease, CPOD, all of those things. I have none of that. I have 2 gastro issues, which now we're finding that people with gastro issues are getting it. But that's not something that they made, known to the public. So pretty much any underlying condition you have could put you in this situation.
Yeah.
So my question is, initially, who else did you let know? Did you immediately let everyone that you've been around know that you had it, or how did that go?
I'm a loner, so I hadn't been around anyone. So I kind of was in a safe zone, and I felt okay with not sharing it with everyone. But I did call my boss, of course, and tell her it was confirmed that I had COVID. I went immediately on short-term disability. I literally have not left this house unless I've had to go to the doctor. Okay. I have ordered groceries from home. I have been a fan of Amazon. Anything that can be, even my dog food is being ordered online.
Oh, Amazon is making billions now because of COVID.
They are. But you know what? That's okay for right now. I'll let them take my money as long as it's keeping me safe.
Yeah. That's the scary part for me personally, is the fear of the unknown. So it's like you never know who can have it because they may be asymptomatic, and then you may be doing everything you think you're supposed to do as far as following all the protocols of 6 feet distance, wearing a mask, and only going out if needed. But it could be that one time you go to the grocery store, or like you said, if you have family, you have children, then it's like you can't not stop talking to them and can't interact with them when they're in the house with you. But if let's say they're going to school pretty soon, and they just happen to shake somebody's hand, and then when they get in the car, it's in the car now. I don't know how it's a fear of the unknown. So
no, I mean, it really is that simple. And I hate that they say 6 feet. I'm not a guru on this, but based on everything that I've learned on my own, 6 feet isn't even far enough. I have a video on my page that shows how far the aerosolized, I can't remember what they call them right now off the top of my head, but it's aerosolized. It's not airborne, which means it stays in the air. It's aerosolized. It sprays out and falls. Right?
Yeah, and everything they're talking about now is just speculation. It's like based off what they know, but none of this is actually facts.
Right.
Yeah, no one has you're right. No one has all of the statistics. It's like it's this, it could be that.
That's why
this person had it.
That's why it's practicing medicine, because they're practicing. They don't really know. This is something new to all of us. 6 feet is definitely not far enough based on the video I have on my page. It's like a video where they show someone sneezing. It shows how far out it goes, and they show different pods of people standing around, and you see how far it goes out to them. 6 feet isn't far enough.
Wow.
Can I say one
more? Comes out. Right.
I want to say one more thing about that. I don't know if you've noticed, and I've started being cognizant of different things. Like if I see someone smoking, and I'm looking at the cigarette smoke traveling in the air, and I'm like, that could be COVID traveling with this cigarette smoke in the air, and then I'm breathing it in, because I can literally see somebody 10 feet away, just way more than 6 feet, 10, 12 feet away, and they're smoking, and I can literally, at a certain point in the day, you could literally see the smoke, and you smell it. So it's like, can that be a way that I'm being contacted with COVID? Is that easy like that, or?
Well, really, it can get in from your eyes too. So we're all wearing face masks, but we're not protecting our eyes. And I'll tell you, it's crazy. But one day I was on the phone with my AAA rep, and she's a Facebook friend now. But I happened to mention that I had COVID, and we had a very long conversation after that. and I told her she needed a face shield. She immediately went out and got face shields for her and her. Well, she made them, but she got face shields for all of her family because her son is asthmatic. So we need to keep in mind that it's not just about us masking up, because at the end of the day, if you're a healthy person, you need to think about the other people that you can affect. And
Very true.
it seems like people are just taking that by the wayside and just saying, screw it. I don't care about anybody but myself, and I don't want to wear a mask, so I'm not going to wear a mask.
Yeah, that's
so
I
many
guess
people
the
going
question that I
viral
would
for getting
have for
kicked
you.
out of stores because they don't want to follow the rules and wear a mask. Just wear the mask to protect everyone around us, and you can shop freely. Like, just I don't understand the resistance. I understand we have rights and people want to protect our rights, but right now with the unknown, I feel like it's more to be safe than sorry, and just take the precautions.
Right.
And Jasmine, since
I have notes here too, so I want to go over some stuff that my survivor group wanted me to make sure I convey to you all too. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay, I was gonna say, since Ambitious can't hear Lloyd at the moment right now, Lloyd was about to ask a question, so I'm gonna let him ask you real quick. But I don't think y'all can hear each other, so I'm gonna let.
No, it's no problem. I was just gonna ask real quick, if you see the question right there, Nick, like how did the Rona make you feel mentally? I think that's a part that we are like failing to mention, the mental toll that it's taking on everyone. And so I guess I was just gonna ask you how did that make, real quickly, because I know you have some things that you wanted to go over.
So that is one of the things that I have on here, is it takes an emotional toll on you as well as physical toll. And it's crazy because I don't even know how to convey this to you guys, but imagine being sick and feeling like you might not wake up in the morning. Or
I've heard that.
Or just saying, okay, and I had these thoughts, and I've never been to the point of saying, okay, I'm going to die. I've never been to that point. But there were at least 4 times while I was sick that I thought I was going to die. I contacted my ex-husband, said, hey, can you take my child if I die? My ex-husband, look, I'm desperate. I'm thinking of how can my children make it without me, because I'm a single mom. I'm thinking, does anyone know I have a lockbox? Do they know which bank it is? I'm thinking about all these things. I'm thinking about my will. Does anyone know all my passwords? Of course, the answers to those are no. No one knows these things. So I bought a book online, to now keep that information in, because I never want to be in that position again where I'm thinking I'm going to die. But it was it took an emotional toll on me, to the point that I've seen it from both sides. So my sister called me because one of her friends was deathly ill with COVID, and she doesn't have any family, and she didn't know what to do. The hospital kept turning her away. So I'm talking to this young lady on the phone, and she's scared, and I hear it. I was that person. So now I have a 360. I was on the one side where I was scared and thinking I was going to die. And I've been the other person on the other side of the family, hearing your loved one thinking they're going to die.
Right. That's an eye-opener.
When I tell you I'm all the way away, I mean, this thing is very scary, and people are not taking it seriously. And it does more than what the flu does, and people need to understand that.
And I've heard that consistently from everyone that I know personally who has or who had COVID. They all say the same thing. It's nothing like they've ever experienced before. Like, it's not just a common anything. It's something totally different.
But that's what the media is selling. That's what the government is selling. Oh, it's like the flu. It's not. And they need to stop doing that. It is not like the flu. And this is one of my points, there are 95 symptoms. I am in a survivor group right now on Facebook, and we do polls in the group. There were 95 symptoms on the poll, and the top half of the poll were not the common symptoms that everybody is talking about: the fever, the headache. So some of the weird ones, I'll just mention some of the weird ones. I had burning sensation in my nostrils, like fire. Like my nose was on fire constantly the entire time I was sick. And I was sick for a month and a half, almost 2 months. I was sick from March till May.
So did you take multiple tests, or was it just 1 or 2 tests?
So every time I went to the hospital, because I went to the hospital several times and I was turned away each time. So each time I went to the hospital, they tested me and I tested positive each time. So
Same test?
Same test.
Same test. Okay.
So I had the burning sensation in my nose the entire time. My face was swollen. So they don't talk about the inflammation and the swelling that it does. Joint pain, you get joint pain. Panic attacks, I had panic attacks. I actually was asleep and a panic attack woke me up, because you can't control a panic attack. You can control an anxiety attack, but not a panic attack. 2 different things.
Okay.
So,
you teaching me a couple of things.
There was hallucinations and heart palpitations, eye pain. I had the eye pain as well. And with the eye pain, you get that when you have the headache. So you get this terrible headache. It's worse than a migraine, because I get migraines from time to time as well. So it felt like my eyes were going to pop out of my head. They felt like they were so swollen and they were trying to come out of pockets. That's what it felt like. My son also had that pain. But those 95 symptoms that I spoke about, when you look in the group, there are pods of people that have the same symptoms. So even though there are 95 symptoms, of course, not one person had 95 symptoms. But when you take it apart, people who might have had the sore throat plus the headache plus, the dry cough, there's a pod of people that have that. Then there's a pod of people that have some of the other symptoms. It's very weird. Like, we're in there, we're trying to figure out, is the blood type related?
So the different strains of the virus that are affecting different demographics, maybe?
There are different strains. There are 6 distinctive strains. I had a report up, but then I had to change to Google Chrome, so I don't see it anymore. But I found a report that came out of UK, and they talk about how they did an algorithm based on people's symptoms. And there are 6 distinctive levels. Like, there's the mild flu one that everyone talks about, but there are also the chronic and the ones that need to be on respiratory. So I was at severe, which was one rung below needing a ventilator. So I had it pretty bad. And they would call me a long hauler in my Facebook group, because normally people are sick maybe between 3. Some people have been sick 3 days. There are people in there that were only sick for 3 days. But then there are people that were sick for 2 weeks. Then there are people like me who were sick for over a month or longer. So like I said, I was sick from March, the middle of March, all the way up to May.
And like you said, you've given a lot of good information, and you mentioned the 6 strains that you had. I just pulled it up, so I want to just run them off real quick. So the first one, it says flu-like with no fever. Then it says number 2 is flu-like with fever. Number 3, it actually says gastrointestinal. That's headache, loss of smell, loss of appetite, amongst other things. But it doesn't have a cough. No cough with that. Number 4, it says severe level 1, fatigue, headache, loss of smell, cough, fever, similar symptoms. Number 5, severe level 2 is what number 5 is called. And it says confusion. So that's a new one. Muscle pain. Yeah. And then the last one, number 6, it says severe level 3, abdominal and respiratory. So I'm assuming that's the one where you have to get on these ventilators, where it's at the highest, severest level.
Yeah, so I had everything except for needing the ventilator. I had hallucinations. There was one day I told my son to go check the food on the stove. I thought I had cooked a whole meal. There was nothing on the stove.
Wow. My
son said he woke up and just kept saying, this is the wrong channel. The TV wasn't on in his room, but he said he was standing in the middle of his floor and he remember saying, this is the wrong channel. This is the wrong channel. He kept saying it over and over and he was stuck. Brain fog and hallucination is very real, and they're not talking about that. They're also not talking about the after effects that it leaves behind. because I am currently dealing with memory loss. I have heart palpitations. I have a heart murmur, and I've had that all my life, but I've never had heart palpitations. I've never felt my heart do anything weird ever. So I have heart palpitations. I also begin wheezing if I'm walking too much or doing something too much. And I've never been an asthmatic person. I've never had any breathing problems, but now I need an inhaler. I also take panic attack, anxiety pills for panic attacks as well, just to kind of keep me calm. And then I have the joint pain that has not left. Now, I will say some of that, I'm not sure if that's a pre-existing condition that COVID may have exacerbated, or if it's something that COVID is leaving behind. There was one thing that I didn't say is that at the last bit of my sickness, I actually had intestinal bleeding. And I was admitted into the hospital at that point because I have gastro issues. So COVID, during the violent diarrhea that I had, it inflamed my intestines. And on its way out the door, I think it wanted to leave me a little something behind.
Yeah.
But my stomach was bubbling. And I thought, I just was going to have another, time on the toilet. And I went, and when I sat down, nothing but blood came out. Nothing but blood. And I was admitted into the hospital, and they kept me overnight for observation. While I was in the hospital, I had a panic attack. The doctor was standing right there, and so was the nurse. They both stood back and got up against the wall and just watched me have a panic attack. My heart was racing so much that I thought I was going to have a heart attack. And they were just standing there watching me as I was telling them what I was feeling. I thought if I tell them what I'm feeling, they'll help me. They just stood back and watched. That was the scariest moment. Like, I thought I was going to die at home, but being in the hospital where you think that they're going to take care of you and watching them watch you, it was scary. Eventually, the nurse finally went out the room and came back in with Ativan, but they didn't take what they were doing. The doctor, like I said, the doctor looked terrified. Like, he didn't want to be there at that point, because even though I tested negative on that hospital visit. They're not, the tests are not 100% on. Like, they're 7% accurate. They're not totally accurate. So they tested me 2 times, and both of those tests came back negative, but they still weren't sure if I was safe to be around. So
yeah, that's a helpless feeling, because the doctor is there. You think you are good in good care, and they don't even know, how to react and respond to this illness that's new to them. And just to prove it again, is like those 6 different strains that I just spoke about. That's from an article that just came out yesterday. So it's great that people like you commend you for being so brave to come out and to share this information. And it's like, this is helpful for everybody else, but also just the credible sources, the credible sites and sources from the medical field, they need to know this information too, so they can share this with us and try to get a better handle on what's going on.
Now, I know in my Facebook group for the survivors, there are tons of survivor groups on Facebook, but the particular one that I'm in, there apparently are a couple news reporters in there as well. And so I think the information is starting to get out. But we have several different polls in the group. We ask, what are your lingering symptoms? There are so many people with different lingering symptoms. It's scary because it's like, are we ever going to be done with this? There are some people that are even testing negative and then go back and get tested and they're positive. So it's as if, did it ever leave the body? Was the test faulty, or did I get it again? Like, you don't know.
Right. What do they call it?
So I was going to ask you real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, I was going to ask real quick. Is there a way for, because I'm sure some of our viewers would like to know how to get to that group, or some of the groups, or how can they find some of the survivor groups? Because, that, like you said, that's a helpless feeling if you feel alone, and I'm sure that, if they go to some of these groups, they can express some of the symptoms that they're having and some of their experiences that they're having. So is it a way that they can reach that group, or is it a private group, or?
It's not totally private. It is searchable. So I went on Facebook and I just put in COVID survivor, and tons of groups came up. I'm in the one, and if you want to be in the same one that I'm in, the one that I'm most active in, you can inbox me and I'll give you the link. And even still, if some of them are your friends, you can invite them to the group, like become a member, and then you can invite them, other people, to the group.
Okay.
So what's the most important thing you would like our viewers to take away from tonight's show?
I got a lot of stuff.
Bring it. We need it.
Let's see what we did not cover, so I can make sure I get that in. Okay, so we talked about the emotional toll, but we didn't talk about the level of care that African American women receive. I don't know if you've ever experienced it, Ambitious, but I mean, on a regular day, going to the doctor is a feat in itself, because most times you have to convince them that you're feeling what you're feeling, right?
You have to overly admit, like, I'm in pain.
You almost have to act like you're worse than you are to get the assistance that you need.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Somebody just told me about that last month, as far as how Black women or women in general are treated by doctors. That was something that I had no clue that was going on. So this is, just by looking at stuff people post, I inquired about it and they told me all about it. And I was like really surprised by it.
I'll just give you a snippet. I had one female gynecologist, Caucasian female gynecologist, who told me I was making it up all in my head. I went to another doctor and he happened to be a very diligent doctor, and he found it, what I thought I had. And he So that just gives you an example. I mean, that's the short end of the story. But, so while I was sick, I had to advocate for myself the entire time. I had to make my doctors give me stuff. For instance, I mentioned that inhaler when I first started studying things. And I said, you know what? Wouldn't it make sense for me to have an inhaler on deck just in case I have breathing problems? Because if an asthmatic person was having breathing problems, they'd use an inhaler. Then light goes on, so I write it down. I call my doctor. I need an inhaler. Do you have asthma? No, I need an inhaler just in case I can't breathe while I'm home. Well, I don't think we should give me. I mean, it was literally like I had to fight for everything. The inhaler, I have I think it's called a spirometer that you breathe into to kind of exercise your lungs. I can't think of the name of it right now, but I had to request everything. It was not just given to me. I had to make them do a CT scan on me instead of just a chest X-ray.
That's a shame.
I had them, and they couldn't find the pneumonia, but guess when they found the pneumonia? When they did a CT scan of me. So I had to fight for that. So I just say, people advocate for care. We talked about the emotional toll. Let's see what else on here. Oh, apparently there's some kind of misnomer going around about zero blood type can't catch the virus. That's not true. There are people in our group that are O and O positive that actually have caught the virus. So if anyone's out there thinking that is not true at all. I don't know. The only other thing I would say I leave you guys with is don't play Russian roulette with your life or your loved one's life, and mask it or casket.
Say that again.
Mask it or casket. That's our slogan in Louisiana. Our governor said that, I believe. Mask it or casket.
Wow.
I mean, you really are playing Russian roulette, because you can either get that flu-like symptom that they keep on talking about, or you could be over on the other side needing that respirator. Do you really want to play that game and see which end you're going to be on?
No.
Yeah.
Not at all. I don't want to play with my children's life. I don't want to play with anybody's life. I mean, and that brings me to school. I don't know what people are doing in schools, but at this point, I'm in the ed room for free, for education for my child. Come stay with me, eat for free, live for free, teach my child while I'm working, because I don't know how I'm going to make that happen, but I'm keeping my child safe.
Yeah.
Got to, because they don't care, and it's too many unknowns to put these little babies back into that environment. It's too many unknowns.
Right.
I totally disagree with the schools opening right now.
Me
Completely.
too. The numbers are higher now than they were when they closed them. So why would they reopen? That makes no sense at all.
Greed.
Right.
They need those checks. But
And that's the
tonight has been awesome.
mhm.
We were right at 40 minutes. Do you guys want to leave us with any last thoughts? Y'all have anything else coming? I know y'all got a lot going on. I know something coming up. What you got coming up soon?
Okay, I'm gonna go, and then I don't know if Lloyd can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay,
I hear everybody.
I'll let him finish out. But I just want to say once again, thank you for coming on. And the only last words I have to say before we end off the show is just like you said, mask it or casket. If you really value, your life, then you got to take this seriously. If you're not taking this very seriously, at least don't be selfish and take it seriously for those that are around you or their loved ones, even your friends, that even associates that you don't even know very well. You don't want to put just them in danger as well. So it's very important just to be a good person and do what's needed to make sure that this thing is handled and it's not spreading. So that's all I have to say. So I'll let Lloyd take it from here.
All right. Just to piggyback off of what Doc was saying, basically, again, we want to thank you, Nick. Your testimony, everything was on point. I think our viewers are definitely are educated more, on what to look for, what are some of the symptoms, and don't think that they're crazy for not feeling, for feeling that they might have some of the new strands, like you were saying. So again, thank you for telling your story. I know it's not easy to do. Oh, go ahead. You have some.
I did forget something. I don't know if you guys have seen that video of I can't remember her name, but there's a newer strand out.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Like the lady, she had her eyes were really red.
Yes, that's absolutely scary to me.
Yeah.
There's a new strand out and people are still playing. But I wanted to make a shameless plug if you will let me.
No, go ahead.
I'm during my sickness, I started thinking of going through that emotional toll. How can you help families, or is there a way to give some kind of, not necessarily security, but remembrance if you lost someone, something that they could wear or whatever. So I started making mala bracelets. They have like an angel wings on it, and they have precious semi-precious stones that actually are supposed to be intentional. They help with depression, and they provide comfort. If you're into stones or anything like that, you understand how meaningful that is. But anyway, I created mala bracelets, and I don't know, just support if you can. But it's Embrace by Nick Miller, MBRACE by Nick Miller. Embrace.
We'll be sure to post that on our post. We're live on Facebook, and so we'll make sure that we put that information. So for any of our viewers that definitely have been impacted or just want to make a difference, they can contact you for that jury and everything. So again, we do thank you for coming here. My last final thoughts. I know Ambitious is ready to. My last thoughts here is that just big news as far as to transition. We're on each stream now as far as this podcast. We want to thank all of our viewers. Last week we did over 4,000 viewers worldwide. So we're on SoundCloud now, Spotify. We're waiting for iTunes. So we just want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. You can definitely catch us on Facebook. Our page is Lamb Business Podcast, or on IG we're Lamp CSLLC. I'm sorry, y'all. It's Lamb Business Podcast on Instagram as well. So I'll turn it over to Ambitious.
No, we're good. I've had a great time. Thank you so much for spending your night with us tonight and educating us and giving us so much resourceful information. I'm definitely going to take my time and look into these extra symptoms because I did not know that there was so many. Like, I mind blown completely. So I'm gonna do my due diligence and look more into everything that you spoke on tonight. And I plan on having a great rest of my week. I hope that you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Let's have a productive, positive energy flowing and all of that fun stuff. I had fun tonight. So until next time, toodles.